have you or can you talk to wild animals?
I can. Yes, yes. And actually, so I'm a wildlife conservationist and I do wildlife rescue. So I'm out in the field all the time, rescuing injured and orphaned wildlife and participating in many different wildlife conservation initiatives. So I'm always working with wild animals and they do talk. For the most part, though, they don't have as much to say. Like our domesticated animals will spill the tea because they're with us all the time. They're more acclimated to humans. Wild animals really don't want anything to do. They really just want to be left alone for the most part. The first thing they always ask me, though, is, are you going to eat me? And can I eat you? Like, those are always the first two things, which makes sense. They're in the wild, predator and prey. Are you friend or foe? So that's usually the first thing that they want to know. Sometimes, depending on the animal and depending on the situation, they may share some insight into what's going on in the world and what we're doing to the planet. I mean, I will say the animals aren't very happy with what we're doing to the natural world. They see the destruction that we've caused. They see what we're doing. And the one thing that usually comes across is they want us to know that, hey, this isn't just your home. Like, we live here too, and you guys are horrible neighbors. You need to do something about this. Like, fix this before it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's very sad. But the one thing that I've learned from them is a lot of times all we have to do to let nature heal herself is to take a step. We just need to stop doing what we're doing and just take a step back. Mother Nature knows what to do. She knows how to fix herself. These animals know what to do. It's us. When you put humans into the equation is where everything just gets off kilter and so we just need to step. We saw that at COVID during the lockdown.
Yes.
Nature bounced back because she finally got to be able to catch her breath and got a break. That's what needs to happen. We just need to step back.
We have to have like all electricity lights off one day a year.
Same.
One day. One Sunday.
Same. Yep.
Maybe Easter Sunday. Just put everything off.
Yes. Seriously. Just one day.
Right.
Yeah. That's all we need.
Yeah.
That's all we need. She just needs a little bit of a breather.
A little bit of love.
Yeah. She doesn't get that.
Right. What about zoos?
So it depends on the zoo. There are good zoos and there are not so good zoos. Now, I will say with most zoos, the animals that are in the zoos were born and raised in captivity. So they don't know any different and they're usually okay with it. They have adjusted to life with humans. They get fed, they get water, they get enrichment. They're fine. There are some, though, that don't do as in captivity, just like there are certain species of animals that just can't survive in captivity. Usually it's due to stress. A lot of times if I go to a zoo and I'll see an animal pacing back and forth, that's a sign of anxiety in the animal. And I'll connect with them and send them Reiki. And usually a lot of it is because they have no place to hide. They're on display. So there's constantly people peeking at them and kids banging on the glass. They have no place to hide. And animals' senses are extremely heightened. They're 100 times better than ours. So I know how I would get annoyed if people were banging on the glass and staring at me. So now imagine you're an animal with these heightened senses. It's 100 times worse. And it can just be really overwhelming for them. So I am an advocate for zoos depending on the zoo and what they do. Because there are some zoos too that do like rehabilitation. Like they'll take a wild animal in, rehabilitate them, and then release them back out to the wild. Or they'll take in a wild animal that just can't survive in the wild. But I don't condone taking wild animals and putting them in captivity for just because that which luckily does not happen nearly as much as it used to, like in the day. Like I said, most of these animals are born and raised in captivity. They don't know any. And again, just like people, every animal has a different personality. So there might be an animal that's fine being in captivity, and then there's another one that's like, I want to be free. I hate this. So it just varies on the animal.
Interesting. Yeah, that was one of the biggest points that you said about rescue, the dog and cat rescues. If the dog is okay with being there, then let them know. Okay. And so one of my curiosities are like snakes. Like, can you talk to snakes?
I can.
Can you talk to like lizards?
So any animal can talk.
Everything that has a beat.
Anything that has a heartbeat can talk. And what's
Ants?
Yes, everything. And what's really interesting is they all talk among themselves. So we call it interspecies communication, but we also call it like the collective, like the great collective, because they all communicate with each other. The only species that is left out of that conversation is us. And that's our own doing. You know, our ancestors knew how to communicate with each other, they knew how to communicate with the animals. We've just forgotten. And so there's conversations going on behind the scenes. They're all talking among each other. They can all communicate with each other. And I tell people, you know, when people don't believe me, I said, think of the pets in your house. Let's say you have a multi-species household, you have dogs and cats. You'll notice, like, they'll look at each other and they'll just know, like, they're in sync. They know what the one's going to do before the other one does, but you don't see them verbalizing with each other. But they are communicating. They communicate telepathically with each other. And that's how I'm able to communicate. It's all telepathic. But yeah, they're always having a conversation. The insect world, the reptile world, the mammals, the birds, anything. Even the trees. Now that I have not delved into nearly as much, but trees and plants also have a mind. They also communicate, especially trees. They communicate through their root systems.